Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. If you're like many of the dedicated professionals we hear from, you're likely neck deep in your ATPL theory exams right now.
Yeah.
And the sheer volume of information, especially on something like airspace classifications, can feel, well, like trying to map the entire sky.
It really can. It's a huge topic.
It's crucial, we know that, but it's often the one pilots describe as feeling like this really dense, interconnected puzzle.
That's a sentiment we hear consistently, yeah.
Yeah.
Navigating all the intricate regulations and the different classifications of airspace, it isn't just about passing a test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the absolute bedrock of aviation safety and efficiency. Every single flight, whether it's a short hop or a long-haul journey, relies on pilots and controllers understanding this invisible architecture of the sky.
Precisely. So our mission today is, well, it's ambitious but clear. We're here to cut through all that jargon, pull out the most critical nuggets of knowledge from the sources we've got, and give you not just the answers to those specific, often tricky ATPL-style questions, but the real understanding behind them. Think of this as your personal accelerator, maybe a shortcut to being truly well-informed on this fundamental topic.
Absolutely. We want you to walk away from this deep dive, not just with, memorized facts rattling around in your head, but with the context, the rationale, the way these concepts all link together. That's what truly lets you master those challenging questions rather than just sort of recalling isolated bits of information.
Exactly. By the time we wrap up, you won't just know what the answers are, you'll understand why they are the answers. And that's really the mark of a truly skilled aviator, isn't it?
Couldn't agree more.
So, okay, let's begin to unpack this vast and essential subject.
Laying the groundwork, the foundational layers of airspace.
We're going to start, like any good pilot does, right? With the basics, the foundational layers. And the most basic building block of airspace within any state is what we call Flight Information Regions, or FIRs. For those of you prepping for exams, this is really square one.
That's absolutely right. FIRs are, you could say, the administrative backbone of airspace. They're these designated geographical areas, right? And they cover the entirety of a state's sovereign airspace, plus any international airspace that state happens to be responsible for managing.
Okay.
And within these FIRs, you get the most fundamental air traffic services provided. That's the Flight Information Service, FIS, giving information useful for flying safely and efficiently, and the Alerting Service, which is there for aircraft in distress or, needing search and rescue. Every single bit of airspace, from the ground right up, has to fall within at least one FIR.
So they're like these big national umbrellas, making sure that, at the bare minimum, pilots can get basic safety info, and there's a system for emergencies no matter where they are within that country's zone.
Precisely. And to make them easy to identify, each FIR usually gets a specific name, often based on a major city or region, like the London FIR, for instance.
Right.
That name is also linked to the Area Control Center, ACC, that's responsible for it, and that's where the Flight Information Center is located too. Now, while it might seem logical for FIR boundaries to strictly follow, say, national borders, and they often do, especially where states are keen on showing precise sovereignty, you do find practical exceptions. Especially in busy areas or places with complex political geography. Think about Europe boundaries. They are often drawn along convenient geographical lines, like lines of latitude or longitude, or maybe median lines over water, rather than trying to follow every little twist and turn of a political border.
That just makes practical sense for managing traffic flow, I suppose.
Exactly. It's a pragmatic approach. It streamlines air traffic management, avoids unnecessary headaches with boundary definitions. So the key thing here, the real takeaway, is that FIRs are where those fundamental safety services start for all aircraft. Doesn't matter the type or flight plan.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Prioritizing operational efficiency. Now, if FIRs give us that horizontal framework, then must be a vertical dimension too, right? Especially as planes climb higher. That brings us to upper information regions, or UIRs. And you mentioned this is where it gets really interesting, where rules might change a bit.
They certainly do, yeah. Where a state decides it's useful to split it.
All right. Many thanks for listening to this free part of the ATPL Theory podcast. If you want to continue learning and access the full comprehensive guide, go to my Patreon at patreon.com/ATPLtheory or my Hero at herohero.co/ATPL. That is patreon.com/ATPLtheory or herohero.co/ATPL. Wishing you all the best.